Most celebrities walk into a room and get attention. Keanu Reeves walks into a room and somehow changes the entire atmosphere. People get nervous, interviews become unforgettable, and ordinary moments turn into stories that last a lifetime. One of Keanu's most memorable moments came during an interview when he was asked a question that caught everyone off guard. What do you think happens when we die? While many celebrities might have tried to dodge the question, Keanu answered with a single sentence that instantly became legendary. I know that the ones who love us will miss us. The room fell silent. It wasn't just an answer. It was a reminder of why so many people admire him. But Keanu isn't only known for his wisdom. Sometimes he surprises people with lines that sound like they belong in a movie. When discussing relationships, he delivered a quote that fans still talk about today. If you're a lover, you've got to be a fighter. When asked what he meant, Keanu didn't hesitate, because if you don't fight for your love, what kind of love do you have? Simple, direct, and somehow unforgettable. His natural charm affects almost everyone he meets. Just ask comedian Celeste Barber. The moment she discovered she was sitting in the exact chair Keanu once sat in, she completely lost her composure. When producers confirmed it was the same chair, her reaction was priceless. Oh my God. But despite all the attention he gets, Keanu never tries to keep the spotlight on himself. In fact, one of his most famous moments happened when he did the exact opposite. During a gaming event, a fan shouted, "You're breathtaking!" Without missing a beat, Keanu pointed back at the crowd. "You're breathtaking! You're all breathtaking!" The audience erupted. And just like that, another legendary Keanu moment was born. For someone known for being calm, humble, and down to earth, Keanu Reeves has a surprising effect on the people around him. And nowhere was that more obvious than with some of Hollywood's biggest stars. One of the most famous examples came from Sandra Bullock. Years after filming Speed together, Sandra admitted something fans had suspected for decades. She had a crush on Keanu Reeves. During an interview, she confessed that staying focused while working with him wasn't exactly easy. She described him as sweet, handsome, and incredibly kind. In fact, she admitted it was sometimes difficult to stay serious around him because of how charming he was. For years, fans wondered whether the feelings had ever been mutual. Then came the surprise nobody expected. When Keanu was shown the interview, he looked genuinely shocked. He had no idea Sandra felt that way. But then he revealed something that stunned everyone. He admitted that he had a crush on Sandra too. Suddenly, one of Hollywood's biggest what-if stories became even more fascinating. And when people looked back at their old interviews together, many started noticing the chemistry that had been there all along. The playful smiles, the comfortable conversations, the way they naturally connected whenever they shared a room. But Sandra wasn't the only actress affected by the Keanu Reeves charm. During a Matrix interview, Carrie-Anne Moss was asked a simple question about her character, Trinity. What happened next was hilarious. The moment she started talking about Keanu, she completely lost her train of thought. For a few seconds, it seemed like she forgot everything she was supposed to say. The audience couldn't stop laughing. Even years later, fans still joke that Keanu managed to short-circuit Trinity herself. Then there was actress Alice Eve. While discussing her experience working alongside Keanu, she described him in a way that sounded more like someone talking about a mythical creature than a co-star. She called him a mystical being. Not only that, but she explained how comfortable she felt talking to him. According to Alice, Keanu was the kind of person who could be trusted with anything. At one point, she told him she had something private to share. His response was simple: "I'm a vault." That was all it took. From that moment on, she trusted him completely, and then came Winona Ryder. While sitting right next to Keanu during an interview, she decided to confess something she'd kept to herself for years. She admitted she had a very healthy crush on him. The audience immediately reacted, but before things could get awkward, Keanu smiled and delivered the perfect, "I had a healthy crush on you too." The crowd exploded. What could have been an uncomfortable moment instantly became one of the sweetest celebrity interactions ever caught. At this point, a pattern was becoming. Keanu Reeves has earned countless compliments throughout his career. But what truly sets him apart isn't his acting. It's the way he treats people when the cameras aren't rolling. One of the most touching stories came from Academy Award-winning actress Octavia Spencerlong. Before either of them became Hollywood stars, Octavia was driving to an audition when her car suddenly broke down. She was stranded on the side of the road, hoping someone would stop to help. Car after car drove past. No one even slowed down. Then one motorcycle pulled over. The rider took off his helmet. It was Keanu Reeves. Without asking for anything in return, he offered to help. Octavia remembered feeling embarrassed because her old car was dirty. But Keanu didn't care. He simply helped push the car to safety before continuing on his way. It was a small act of kindness, but years later, she still remembered every detail. In fact, she admitted that ever since that day, she makes a point of supporting every Keanu Reeves movie. Not because she has to, but because she never forgot how kind he was to a complete stranger. Stories like that explain why fans admire him so much. And it's not just adults who get to experience that kindness. Keanu has always had a special way of connecting with children. During one fan event, a young boy named Noah excitedly introduced himself. Instead of rushing through the conversation, Keanu knelt down, smiled warmly, and spoke to him like they had known each other for years. The boy asked about Keanu's role as Duke Kaboom in Toy Story 4. Rather than giving a quick answer, Keanu patiently explained how motion capture worked, describing how his movements were transformed into animation. For Noah, it wasn't just meeting his favorite actor, it became a memory he would never forget. Another unforgettable moment involved a young fan named Elijah. After getting Keanu's autograph, Elijah worked up the courage to ask one simple question: "Would you play catch with me?" Most celebrities might politely decline. Keanu didn't hesitate. He smiled and said, "Yeah, Come on, let's go. For the next 30 seconds, the Hollywood superstar stood there throwing a football with a young fan. To everyone else, it looked like a small moment, but for Elijah, it meant everything. Later, he called it the best 30 seconds of his life. Moments like these reveal something special about Keanu Reeves. He understands that even the smallest gesture can leave a lasting impact on someone else's life. And perhaps that's why millions of fans around the world don't just admire him as an actor. Keanu Reeves has played countless heroes on screen, but some of his most unforgettable moments happened when no cameras were supposed to be watching. After filming John Wick Chapter 4, Keanu wanted to thank the people who had spent months helping bring the action to life. Not with a speech, not with a social media post, but with something deeply personal. He invited 4 members of his stunt team out for dinner. At the end of the evening, he surprised each of them with a personalized Rolex watch. Engraved on the back was a special message thanking them for their hard work and dedication during the production. The stunt team was completely stunned. In an industry where stunt performers often work behind the scenes without much recognition, Keanu made sure they knew how much they were appreciated. It wasn't about the value of the gift, it was about the thought behind it, and that's exactly what made the story go viral. But Keanu's kindness doesn't stop with the people he works with. One moment that spread across the internet showed him riding a crowded subway. Instead of acting like a celebrity, he quietly stood up and offered his seat to another passenger. There were no cameras following him, no publicity team nearby, just a simple act of respect that someone happened to capture. For most people, it was proof that his reputation wasn't an act. That's simply who he is. Another heartwarming moment came at the 2020 Academy Awards. While many celebrities arrived with co-stars or famous guests, Keanu chose someone much more important, his mother. Walking the red carpet together, the two smiled for photographers and chatted with reporters. Fans loved seeing the genuine bond between them. It wasn't about making headlines. It was about sharing one of Hollywood's biggest nights with family. Even surrounded by flashing cameras and cheering crowds, Keanu remained exactly the same, calm, polite, grateful. And perhaps that's why so many people admire him. No matter how famous he becomes, he never seems to forget what truly matters. But if there's one thing people have noticed over the years, it's that Keanu has an almost unbelievable effect on women. Whether it's actresses, musicians, or television hosts, many have openly admitted they couldn't help developing a crush on him. And some of those stories are absolutely hilarious. By now, it's no secret that Keanu Reeves has become one of Hollywood's most admired actors. But what's surprising is how many celebrities have openly admitted having a crush on him. Singer Paula Abdul was once asked about the long-running rumor that she dated Keanu after appearing with him in the music video for Rush Rush. Her answer came with a smile. She admitted she wished the rumors had been true. Then she shared a hilarious memory from the set. One day, she walked past Keanu's trailer and noticed the door was slightly open. Inside, Keanu was completely lost in the music, wearing headphones and enthusiastically playing air guitar. It was such an unexpected sight that Paula laughed and jokingly thought, "That's my boyfriend." Then came another unforgettable story. A restaurant hostess recalled the day a motorcycle pulled into the parking lot. The rider slowly removed his helmet. His hair fell into place in what she described as a perfect slow-motion movie moment. The second she realized it was Keanu Reeves, she froze. She admitted her knees actually started shaking. She couldn't believe the Hollywood star standing in front of her was real. Moments like these explain why so many people describe Keanu as effortlessly charismatic. But sometimes the admiration becomes even more entertaining. During an interview, actress Ali Wong joked about kissing Keanu Reeves while playing a game. Before anyone could react, the audience burst into laughter. Even Keanu couldn't help smiling at the unexpected comment. Things became even funnier when actress Tiffany Haddish confessed that she once took home a life-size cardboard cutout of Keanu Reeves. She explained that a friend who worked at a video store let her keep it after the promotion ended. She proudly placed it in her dressing room and joked that the cardboard Keanu kept her company for quite a while. The audience couldn't stop laughing, while Keanu simply smiled through the entire story. Then there was Kelly Reaper. During an interview about Keanu's love of motorcycles, he passionately described the feeling of riding through the open road. The wind, the freedom, the adventure. Kelly couldn't resist interrupting with a playful response. "Fine. You can take me, Keanu." The entire studio erupted with laughter. Keanu laughed along, taking the joke exactly as everyone expected, with grace and good humor. By this point, one thing had become obvious. Whether it was actresses, musicians, television hosts, or everyday fans.
By now, Keanu Reeves had become more than just a movie star. He had earned something far more valuable: respect. One of the funniest confessions came from legendary actress Diane Keaton. While talking about working with Keanu, she didn't even try to hide how much she liked him. With a smile, she joked that Keanu loved her a lot. Then she laughed and added that his affection seemed to grow over time. Whether she was joking or not, the audience loved every second of it. But while countless celebrities openly admired Keanu, there was one reason fans respected him even more. It wasn't something he said, it was something people noticed in photos. Over the years, hundreds of fans shared pictures they had taken with Keanu at conventions, movie premieres, and public events. One small detail kept appearing in almost every single photo. Whenever Keanu posed with women, he never placed his hands directly on them. Instead, he kept his hands slightly behind their backs or hovered them just above without making contact. It became known online as the famous Keanu hand. Fans praised him for always making people feel comfortable and respecting personal boundaries. Soon, soon, social media gave him a new nickname, the Respectful King. It was a simple gesture, but it perfectly reflected the kind of person people believed he was. Even unexpected situations couldn't shake his calm personality. During one flight, Keanu's airplane was forced to make an emergency landing after experiencing a mechanical problem. Passengers later described the tense atmosphere as the pilot announced they would have to divert and land immediately. Many people were understandably nervous. Keanu's reaction was completely different. Later, when asked how he handled the situation, his answer was as calm as ever. "I took a breath, just 3 words, no panic, no drama, just quiet composure." That same attitude carries over into his work. While filming the intense fight scenes for the John Wick series, fellow actors couldn't stop talking about his dedication. They described watching him train for hours every day, practicing martial arts, learning complex choreography, and repeating difficult stunts until every movement was perfect. One actress even laughed while remembering her first day of training. She saw Keanu sweating in his jiu-jitsu uniform and jokingly admitted he was next level hot. The entire cast burst into laughter. Despite years of praise from fans and colleagues, Keanu has never seemed comfortable with being treated like a legend. When comedian Jim Carrey once described him as the man every man aspires to be, Keanu looked genuinely surprised. Instead of accepting the compliment, he immediately praised Jim in return. He called him incredibly generous, creative, and someone with a beautiful heart. Then came another heartfelt moment with Drew Barrymore. She thanked Keanu for always being kind, humble, hardworking, and respectful throughout his career. For a brief moment, the normally confident actor seemed almost speechless. He smiled warmly and quietly replied, "That's very kind of you to say." It was another reminder that no matter how much admiration comes his way, Keanu Reeves never lets fame change who he is. For most celebrities, meeting fans means signing a few autographs and taking a quick photo. For Keanu Reeves, it sometimes means becoming part of one of the happiest days of their lives. One day, while staying at a hotel outside London, Keanu was approached by a groom who recognized him. Instead of asking for a simple selfie, the groom made an unusual request. Would Keanu come inside and surprise everyone at the wedding? Without hesitation, he smiled and said yes. Moments later, the Hollywood star walked into a room full of shocked guests. He greeted everyone, posed for photos, congratulated the newlyweds, and spent time chatting with complete strangers. For the bride and groom, it became a wedding story nobody would ever believe without the pictures. And that's exactly who Keanu is. He never acts like he's too important to make someone's day. Another unforgettable story came from Drew Barrymore. She revealed that when she was just 16 years old, Keanu gave her one of the greatest memories of her life. He let her ride on the back of his motorcycle. Looking back, Drew described the experience as pure freedom. She said it was one of those rare moments that stayed with her forever because it reminded her what it felt like to be completely happy without worrying about anything else. Even years later, she still spoke about that memory with genuine emotion. Of course, not every interview with Keanu stays serious. During a game of Never Have I Ever, one guest jokingly admitted she had never kissed Keanu Reeves. Before anyone else could react, another celebrity laughed and replied, "Nice try, but I don't think you ever will." Even Keanu couldn't help laughing at the unexpected joke. Then came another awkward interview. Keanu was asked whether filming an intimate scene with a co-star who happened to be married to the movie's director made him uncomfortable. Without missing a beat, he smiled and answered, "Not for me." The audience immediately burst into laughter. But beyond the jokes and funny moments, Keanu has always spoken seriously when it truly matters. When discussing bullying, he delivered a heartfelt message. He reminded people that bullying can have devastating consequences and politely asked everyone to choose kindness instead. It wasn't a dramatic speech. It was simple, honest, and sincere. Later, he was asked whether there was anything in life he wished he could change. Keanu paused before answering. He admitted that everyone makes mistakes. What matters is learning from them, forgiving yourself, forgiving others, and continuing to move forward. It was another reminder that wisdom often comes from experience. Finally, after decades of fame, someone asked the question fans had always wondered about. "What's your secret to staying so humble?" Keanu smiled. He thought for a second, then delivered one of the funniest one-word answers of his career. Gravity. The room erupted with laughter. It was classic Keanu Reeves. Humble, funny, effortlessly charming, and completely himself. Maybe that's why so many people admire him. Not because he's perfect, but because, despite all the fame, success, and admiration, he has never